Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have the blank, which is always good to see. The rest of the rack not so good. Fugu is good, and fugue, so I think I'll be playing rather than changing. If I can get one of those down. I don't think there's going to be a bingo here. I'm not seeing a 7. And I don't think there's likely to be an 8. Although, with the blank, who knows? Great, no bingo for opponent. Fugue does play, and fugu. To the left and right of the E of bathe. But is there anything better? I would like to get rid of both U's, but if there's a big enough score, I would hang on to one of them. Fugu feels really open, but I think that's not a bad thing given how bingo-y my rack leave is. Only 14 points. Am I missing a better spot? I could play fugue in row H. 13 points. Okay, I am going with this. And that is a good pickup. I am definitely bingoing. So I have agonize, and loads more. So how about rows E and K, which are double rows, and one of which will remain available? They both have vowels, which isn't so great given that I have 4, but this rack plus an A. Not seeing anything. This rack plus a U. Now, A's been replaced by AY. I do have the ING ending, but I'm not seeing a bingo there. J takes nothing in front. How about row K with a U? So this rack plus a U. I think I'll squiz through the alphabet because there could be one here. And if there is, it's going to be the best play. And the blank will be a consonant, I think. Not seeing anything so far. So this rack plus a U. Still nothing. That's Ganoin as a 7. That would be QU, but no bingo. Well, I could be missing a play. But I'm not seeing a bingo with the U. Okay, so where to play? Probably row L, I think. Sticking an E or an S on the end of fugu. So how about playing agonize for 74? Yeah, I think that's fine. There would have been a ton of options to consider on the agonize play, but I didn't want to spend time looking for a play which possibly would only be marginally better. It was just the double that was worth spending time on. Now, not a bad pickup. All bingo-y tiles, slightly hampered by duplicates. So, is there a bingo here? Not a 7. I'm not seeing a 7. How about these floaters? All quite bingo-y. So this rack plus an A. No. How about a G? I would have the... Wow, what about snedding? Surely that's good. I'm confident about that. How about the O? An opponent may be drawn to other spots. Column 10 quite hot. Not seeing anything with the O, but there could be something. 3 N's unlikely. This G, well, I don't think snedding has an anagram. So I think I have snedding in column 3. Supposing that's blocked, well, that will leave column 10 alone. I don't have anything to go next to the J, so the best I can do here is den. Only 18 points. Well, I've only got 1 and 2 point tiles. Now, how about row E? Do I have, well, and row D, both available for double doubles, but row D would be a bingo, row E doesn't have to be. Not seeing anything in row D, but it could end bands. So what would that leave me with? Dine. No, not seeing a bingo there. How about a non-bingo with AY? Gosh, I thought I had denied for a moment. I would need one more E. But I only need 5 tiles to make a double-double, and that would be a big score with the Y. So it would probably end ED. No, I am not seeing a play. Opponent taking a while with this move. Now, do I have a play from the J? Well, I do. I have Ginny, Jinne, which in turn takes an E, but that leaves double D on my rack. Surely I can do better than that. Row M, a bingo lane for 7-letter bingos, hooking the E. But I don't have one of those. I'm reluctant to wreck this rack. If you take the duplicates out, it's a pretty good rack. Great. Snedding remains available. Anything further to consider? I don't think there is. So back-to-back bingos, always good fun. And I draw the Z. No bingo here, but this looks a pretty handy rack for getting value from the Z. It goes well with vowels. And in particular, it goes well with the O. No super hot Z spots. Cuke takes an S. But I can't see any 6-letter Z plays beginning an S. Ah, fantastic. 53 points for opponent. But he has set up column 1 for my Z. So I could play Fez. Let me see what this scores. So that's 58, which is pretty handy. Rack leave Grim. But can I do any better? Not in column 1. What's the best I can do with Zoo? My Z code could go in front of EX, but I can't see any, or there aren't any blank ZD words. No, I'm not seeing anywhere any alternative plays which are worth considering, so I'm in the hands of the Scrabble gods for my pickup, and they haven't looked favourably upon me. I lead by 60, which is good. I may need to draw on that lead to hang on to this game. This is pretty awful, and this is close to changing territory. Great, only 20 points for opponent. So often when I change, it's not the best move, so I don't wish to rush into this if it's the wrong thing to do. I could play EOAN for 8 points. Keeping double AOS. I don't think that's worth doing. I could play double AS in column 4. 24 points, keeping AEOO. Probably worth doing. Annoyingly. Now, well, something even better. What about this for 32 points? Can I make this even better? No, I can't, but this is surely better than changing. This rack leave is not worth minus 32. It's probably worth somewhere between minus 10 and minus 20, so this is worth doing. Well, I think now is the time to change. 7 vowels. And this is the bad outcome of keeping 4 vowels. If I'd drawn 3 consonants, I could have dodged a bullet and carried on scoring, but I think the scoring has to stop with this rack. I can't see any way of playing off 3 vowels and scoring about 30 points. So, what to change? Well, I guess 6, retaining the E, although there's only 2 A's to come and the A is nice. But still, I's, O's and U's out there, so I think it would be dangerous just keeping 2 vowels. My lead is 80, but this is a bingo-y board. Just looking at what my S got me last turn. It got 11 points, so actually fairly borderline playing that S. S is worth 8 to 9, but in the context of retaining 4 vowels, the S was probably worth a bit more. Anyway, that won't be a huge blunder, if indeed it is one. Still 1 blank to come, which is good news in terms of changing 6 tiles. Hay takes a number of hooks after it. All has stopped to play in row H. So what else is there to consider on this move? So what could I get by playing, say, double O? It would go in column 2. 14 points. That's not worth doing. A back is good. Nothing goes in front of IU. Okay, I'm really saying no sensible alternative to changing. No K to come. Okay, great. Only 15 points for opponent. That means I have a lead as I go into this change, and opponent's play has not changed anything. So I keep just the E. Wow. This is pretty good for 6 random tiles. Very close to a bingo. Not seeing a 7. And no real floaters on the board. But it's good to see the V. It's a scoring tile. And it means I should be able to leave a good rack leave. This triple word square at the bottom in the middle has stayed available for a very long time. It just shows the value in covering up this double letter square with the E of Agonize. Wow, opponent bingos this turn and takes the lead. Sutan takes an S, 1S, 1 blank to come. Provides no floaters. Apart from the E, well, a vowel floater doesn't help me. So, I don't have a vowel for going to the right of the S. I'm looking for somewhere I can play V double E. And what about... So I could play Eve down here. Only 1 E in the bag, so keeping double E not terrible. I could put an R in front. How many R's to come? Loads. 26 points. Upsetting the vowel consonant balance. Do I want to do that? Let me see how many vowels are left. Look at this, only 1 A and 1 E. Those are the bingo-y vowels. I can't even see how many I's there are. It looks like maybe 7. Let me see how many have been played. 1, 2. Yeah, so 7 I's. 15 vowels out of 42. It's vowel dry, so this rack leave definitely looks fine. 26 points, decent score. Is there anything better? I am providing nice floaters for opponent. But they're nice floaters for both of us. 13 minutes on my clock. I only trail by 10, so I don't have to do anything dramatic. What about playing VAE in column 2? 14 points, dropping 12. Well, although Reeve is providing a floating E, it's also disrupting an S hook on the end of Sutan. What about VAE in column 6? 16 points. Tempting. Well, that wasn't what I was thinking of. VEE. This is the best rack cleave, AELR, and this looks a lot better than EEL. Especially with there being so few A's and E's left. If opponent does play something in row N, hook putting an S on the end of Sutan, he'll be opening up access to triple word squares. If he plays down from the E, he won't score very much and he'll be providing a floater, and this is a bingo-y rack cleave. I am going with V. Okay, well, I don't draw an S or a blank. All 1 point tiles with no floaters. Let me just consider this E. Renailer not good. And I'm not seeing an anagram. How about through U and A? Unlikely. V is also nice in that it doesn't really provide anything for opponent. Wow, this board is starting to look pretty tight. Now, Larnia, I have a 7 on my rack. Does that go? FRE not good. Sutan only takes an S. Hayes takes nothing. Gosh, so I do have a bingo. It's hard to see how opponent would make a play such that that would be playable, but it could happen. Opponent could play in column 12, for example. Well, he doesn't, and he scores well, 22 points. He's still in the lead by 16. Do any of these floaters assist? I have the LY ending. Not seeing anything there. How about the N? Not seeing anything. 28 tiles to come, which is a lot. And I probably could do with keeping the board open. And I'm thinking about playing down from this E. It's not going to score very much. So I could play renal. 17 points, keeping EIR, which isn't terrible in the context of a vowel dry bag. The L goes well with the R. The N of veiny goes well with this rack cleave. I'm not going to score much more than 17 with just 1 point tiles. I'm going with this. Okay, so do I have anything? Is Poitrine good? I don't think it is. Pointier. Pointier is good, and I think Pointier has an anagram. But is it Poitrine? I don't think it is. There's something sounds really wrong about that. Let me consider other floaters. How about the L? Wow, fantastic bingo for opponent. Just the floater he needed, that L. And didn't even use the blank, so he's now in pretty good shape. A bingo ahead. Can I come back? Poitrine, even if it is good, is blocked. What about something ending NE? Not many of those. Just looking at row H to see if I can get my P doubled. This N and Y are not great as floaters. Not many words or bingos end N or Y, so it's a bit of a false situation thinking you're keeping bingo lanes open. I think I really need to have more bingo lanes. If I played POI, the rack cleave of EIRT would be quite good. But where can I play that and open up a lane? 9 minutes on my clock. I can't see a way of playing OP and one of these eyes. Still 3 eyes to come. And it's hard to open the top of the board. So, what to do? Tricky. I felt that this game was going reasonably well, but opponent's last bingo has significantly dented my chances. If I played POI in column 4, I would not be creating a bingo lane. And I need to do that, or get quite lucky. And I don't have an S or a blank, so if I played POI in column 12, this may be worth doing. 19 points. Opponent may struggle to block this without UO, not good, so let me forget about that. I just played it in the wrong spot. This is what I was thinking about. If opponent blocks column 13, he may struggle to do so without creating a new lane. But this is fairly grim territory. There are very few lanes on this board. But Poi is only taking out the N. So arguably it's simply creating a new lane. But since it's the only one, opponent has all opponent needs to do is take this out, and I'm going to struggle to bingo. Row N isn't a great lane. And only 13 points. What about a play down from column 4? What about Petri? 22 points. Well, burning the final E, keeping an eye on an O with 6 of them to come. I don't feel that that is the right play. So 6 minutes on my clock, 17 tiles to come. I am going with Poi for 13. Well, good and bad. I draw the blank, which is very good news. The Q less so. I don't have a bingo with this rack, but I can play the Q. I can play Chi, either side of the S of Snedding. I've also got it in row M. Okay, so opponent has not blocked column 13. That's good, but he has scored 37 points, so he's close to outrunning me. He's not created a new lane. 11 tiles in the bag. I think the priority is to play Chi. And I think this is where it scores the most, 24 points. Okay, finally a good rack. I've got replots in column 13. Surely opponent will be taking that out. But he's played off the S with O's, so he can't put an S there. He could put an O next to up O, which only takes an N. And I don't have a bingo with the blank as an N, so anything beginning O is going to be pretty fatal. But I can fork the board because I can play PO in row B, PO something, and then create a bingo lane in row A and also in column 13. So this game isn't over yet. However, I trail by 60 with opponent on turn. Now, do I have a bingo in row N? What would need to go in front of the B? Well, A or O. So double A doesn't look likely. How about the O? That's a tile I have. So it could end OA something. So this rack plus an A. And it would have to end, so it could end load, for example. I'm not confident about this. Teraflop. Oh, that doesn't work. I think it's easier to spot bingos and then see if they have the right letter pattern. Pro metal and temporal. No. Pootler. Well, that's a 7. I mustn't forget that I do actually have a playable bingo at the moment. Opponent may not have the O. There are 9 tiles in the bag. So I'm looking for this rack plus an A. Prolates. Does that have an anagram? Petrosal. And there's one other. Prolates, Petrosal, and... it's not coming to mind. Pro tile is a 7. Wow, opponent leaves the bingo lane available. Fantastic. I'm just about at the end of that exercise. So I have replots. 6 tiles in the bag. I trail by 76. Do I have anything with the blank as an H for going next to the C? 5 minutes on my clock. So let me put this in position. There. Is that a bingo? No, I don't think it is. Have I overlooked any lanes? Column 2. My P could go next to SI. Well, I think in any event, this is the best spot. It gets doubled, a decent score. 72 points. Wow. And I say wow not because of my rack, but opponents. He's got 7 consonants, and I trail by only 4. So opponent is certainly not going out in 1, probably not going out in 2. I should be able to go out in 2 and get some count back. So it's game on. 14 for opponent. He's got double R, double T. This isn't going to be easy. How long have I got? 4 minutes. But I need to go out in 2 and score half decently. R only takes an E next to it. Thing is, I can play down here. Let me see what this looks like. Well, what do I have down here? Probably nothing better than Ami for 17. But opponent then places just a T next to TI for 9. Let me put this back. What if I do OI here? That's 13. And then I've got Lima for 13. So that'll be 26 in total. 410. Plus whatever I get on countback. I think this is very close to being in the right sort of territory. Opponent can't do much about that. Let me just... if I put an A there, then he can put an R or a T. Let me go back to the O. Do I have an alternative decent position? Nothing else goes in front of SI. Column 12 not available. I'm coming back to column 14. I wanted to find something nice, which was a 4-letter play. I've got 2 minutes, so let me consider this. What about playing AIM? The score is good. But opponent can just put an R or a T there, but he's not really blocking anything. Well, is this going to be enough? Just 2 minutes on my clock. I've got an O, so I could do something here, surely. If I play moi for 18 points, what about playing mo for 17, and then I've got Ilya for 16, 33 points. I think that's a better overall deal than the OI and lame spot. Neither R nor T can go in front of the O, so I'm absolutely guaranteeing Ilya. Okay, I'm short on time. I think this works. 17, this will take me to 401. Opponent simply can't block row A, so I don't need a second out unless... Unless I need it for score. But will I? What can opponent do with T and R? Let me have a quick look. I've got a minute. And it would be something like if he had Bachta, which would really scupper me. But that's not good. No, I'm seeing nowhere for opponent. Let me just do the verticals. No, I think this does the job. Let's find out. So Ilya and Am is what I need to play in my remaining time. That doesn't play parallel tree plot, so I genuinely don't have a second spot for Ilya. I do have Iliad for 12 in row N. Wow. I was not expecting to be in this position after Bloodia, but it's not over yet. Opponent has got 6 minutes to find something amazing with his R's and T's. I don't know how unlucky he was to end up with 7 consonants, but it certainly put him at a massive disadvantage. I'm not seeing anywhere great for him. I'm looking on the board for what I would do with R's and T's, and there's nothing. He's played at for 6. Oh, so that means my time has gone down. Good job I spotted that. So Ilya for 16. And the final score, 408 for my opponent, 421 for me, a winning margin of 13 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game, what a finish. And I nearly didn't spot that opponent had played. I think sometimes I hear the sounds and sometimes I don't, and I don't know if that's the problem with that is my hearing or whether it's not coming out of my speakers. Anyway, it was opponent to go first, and he played bathe. Fugue, no bingo here, H7 fugue. I decided to retain the E. If I'd played the E, it would have placed an E next to this double letter square, which would have been quite valuable for opponent. He could have placed his W there, for example, and played whack. So I think I'm pretty confident Fugu is better than Fugue. Opponent's rack plays J for 30. Now, nothing better than Begonia, L6. Okay, so that's just a row L bingo, and I dropped 2 points there. Well, that's not very much. Opponent plays Q, which was a nice find. And I have Snedding, and that's the only bingo, so delighted to spot that, and always great fun to have a back-to-back bingo, because it's wholly undeserved. So, opponent plays X, and wow, D1. Oh, wow, Zuias getting the Z doubled. And that would have resolved the whole vowel problem, which I ran into with Fez, and scored 20-odd more points, so certainly a better play. Opponent's rack plays all. And now I'm struggling. I play R's, but the rack leave is threatening terrible things. Opponent plays Mew, and here we go. And nothing better than 14 points. All these rack leaves worth less than -14, so changing was the right thing to do. And opponent bingos, so I now trail. I don't have a bingo. E-Rev, that's nice, 28 points, hanging on to the A, which was reasonably precious because there were only 2 to come. And a decent score, so where is E-Rev being played? Ah, in column 12. Okay, well, I'm not so sure about that because that's opening up row O and the opportunity for opponent to score well. So V, not a terrible play. Opponent plays Veiny. No bingo here, and I play Renal, which I thought was okay in the context of score and rack lead, and certainly in terms of the moves on offer here, there's nothing obviously better. But look at this, absolutely fantastic bingo by opponent and a great spot. And things were not looking so good for me. Very unbingo-y board, and I trailed by about 60 points. No bingo here. I play Poi to create a new S lane in column 13, and opponent has an S. And actually, he has right-O's, which isn't good, but used to be. Plays O's for 37. Wow, interesting. He did have the S, and he did have a good lead, but 37 points is attractive, and maybe he thought he was in reasonable shape to outrun me with a 90-point lead, and that's probably right. So I dumped the cue. I see no value in retaining it. And now opponent's rack looking significantly bad. Plays City for 15. So let's just go back and have a look at this. Played CIT, keeping DGRR. Interesting. And City does not block up, so I question that. I would think that maybe Gerd would have been better hanging on to the I. But in any event, he plays City. And here we go. Wow, I didn't actually see Petrels. I saw replots, but Petrels also goes for the same score. And here we go. The bag is empty, and opponent has all consonants. He played Gerd, nothing more on offer. And now I trail by 18 points. Moai, D14. Ah, that's nice. MOAI. Yeah, keeping IL. So I could then play LI for 9. Okay, interesting. Well, I didn't see that. I played Mo for 17, only 5 fewer points, and guaranteeing a 16-point play. I think these are all winning plays. Yeah, opponent has nothing more than 6 points available. And finally, Ilya for 16, best score and an out. So, what a game. Absolutely enormous fun. I felt I was in reasonable shape in the middle, but then just after the middle, things went badly against me. Opponent got a couple of bingos down in Sutan and Bloodier. I had poor racks, and it was a tight board, so I really didn't think there was any way back, and I think I partly won the game due to opponent not taking out this bingo lane in column 13, and also perhaps good fortune in opponent having 7 consonants towards the end. But it shows the importance of never giving up and just always doing the best you can. And the poi play in terms of creating that column 13 lane, I think in hindsight was reasonably good play. Anyway, a fascinating game to take part in. Many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.